This is really easy to add this kind of skeleton loaders in your web app. We will be creating our custom skeletons without using any kind of packages. This kind of skeleton loaders are useful when your API is taking time to provide a response and you want to retain user by providing any kind of structure of the data. So let's dive into the coding part. First, I will create a route inside the pages directory. I'll name it skeleton.js, React arrow function and component, and here it is written skeleton. So let's go to the skeleton route, skeleton, and you can see the skeleton is showing up. So let's create a component for the skeleton. I will name it skeleton.js, and again React arrow function and component. Here I will return something else. This is the skeleton component. Let's import the skeleton component. Import skeleton from component/skeleton. Now it's time to render this up. Skeleton. Let's see what is showing up in the terminal. Let me give it a refresh, and this is showing that this is the skeleton component. Now let's dive into the designing part. For the skeleton, we will actually be returning a simple div, and we will have to style this up. For that, I will write some inline styles. Let's name it const style, which will be actually an object. It will be having a height, a width, border radius. All of them will be customizable by the user who is using this skeleton. Then there will be a border, a background color, then some margin at bottom. So I'll be applying this inline style to this div. So let's receive this height and width from the props. So here I will give a default value like 10px, and width will be same like 5px, so we can actually differentiate. And background color should be like black, and here we need the equal to sign. Border radius is 4px, margin bottom 2 pixels, and some value to border will be like 1 pixels, or maybe let's keep the border by default 0. So when we come here and we give it a refresh, so when we come here you can see something is showing up. So for that we will give the width to like 200 pixels and the height should be like 20 pixels, so it is much more visible. So let's design it more like a skeleton. So for that I will create a CSS file. Inside the styles directory I will create skeleton.module.css. So in order to give some styling we need to add some class. So I will add a class name, but before that we will have to import the style sheet, styles from /styles/skeleton.module.css. Now we can use this name to add hash to our class names. For that I will use the styles that we imported, and let's give it a name like skeleton. And let's style this up, this class. We will add a background color which will be linear gradient minus like 90 degrees, and at 20% the color will be F0, and let's give 20%. And at 50% let's make the color kind of dark, so I will choose E0. This will be at 50%, and at 75% we will go back to the same color that we previously had. So let's make it 75% and make the background size a bit more, like 200% and 100%. And let's add the animation. We will be adding an animation. Let's give some spacing and add the animation timing 2.5 seconds, and it will happen for the infinite time. And let's make an animation keyframes Let's make the animation name shimmer and add the animation name here. Give some spacing, add keyframes, add 0%. At 0%, the background position will be 200% and 0. So this 100% will convert to 0. And similarly, at 100%, let's add at 100%. At 100%, the position will be going to minus 200%. Now our skeleton should be visible. I'm not sure why. Let's check this out. Okay, probably we have added this background color. We will have to add background when we are using linear gradient. So let's come back. You can see the animation is going on. Let's remove the letters so it is much more clearly visible. I have removed it. Now let's see. The animation is looking gorgeous. Now let's make it more feasible. So I'll come to the JS file. Now I'm thinking of isolating this whole div inside another function. For that, I will name this const skeleton element is equal to this whole div. And this skeleton element will be returned inside this fragment. And this variable will go here. Still it will work just as it was working before. Now what we need to do, imagine a case where user is rendering a paragraph and he wants to show 5 skeletons on top of each other. He does not have to add 5 skeleton elements on top of each other. For that, we will provide a count prop and default value of count will be 5. To render 5 of the skeletons at once, we will go here, say array. Inside that we can hard code 5, but instead we will put array count dot fill, then wrap this up inside this fill. So what it will do, it will create an array of 5 elements and it will fill each of the element with this div. So let's see how it is. If I change this to 10, now you can see it will automatically start showing 10 skeletons at once. Now let's try adding some props from our skeleton. Let's make the width like 100 pixels. Height should be 100 pixels and border radius should be 50%. Let's see how it is. Yup, it will show circles. And let's do another thing, and let's do count is 1. It will now show only 1 skeleton. Now let's mimic an API call. Let's say const results set results is equal to use state, import that, and blank, keep it blank. Make a function mock API. It will return a promise, return new promise, resolve and rejected state, and we will add a set timeout. Now resolve, send a string hi there. It's time to call this API. For that, I will do use effect. Inside that use effect, I will create a function fetch text. Let's define this function first. Let's try this function fetch text, whatever the name is. Then inside this, I will extract data from this mock API and set results is equal to this data. Don't forget to add the dependency array as well. And after this API call, the results will be updated. Let's render this here, results. Before the API call is made, let's make this function async, and we will wait for the mock API to happen. When it will be mounted, it will call the fetch text function, and inside this function, which is async function, we will make an mock API call. So it will go here in the mock API call, and this will return a new promise which will be having resolve and reject. And after 2 seconds, okay, we are missing this 2 seconds 2000 milliseconds, which is equivalent to 2 seconds, we will be resolving with the string hi there, and it will be stored inside this data. Later it will be stored inside this results using this set results. So let's see the output. Let's refresh. You can see 1 and 2 seconds. After 2 seconds it is showing up. So let's see how this skeleton comes useful in this case. For that I will simply do an OR and paste this. Let's decrease it height to 10 pixels and border radius to like 5 pixels. If the result is not available, show this skeleton. If it is available, show itself. Let's go here. Let's refresh. It is showing up for 2 seconds, then it is showing itself. Let's zoom in and refresh again. It is showing the loader for 2 seconds, then it is showing itself. You can use this format to add skeleton loader to any component you think that it will take time to load. You just have to add this piece of code. So this is how you create your own custom skeleton loader. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like this video and subscribe, and don't forget to follow this series for upcoming videos. I am Somo, signing off.